Hello, it is AR here, and today we're going to look at client and server side scripts. So, I'll be explaining what a client is, a server is, and what you can't do, and what you need to do with some certain types of scenarios. So, let's head straight into the video. So, I want to explain both of them. So, firstly, we've got the client. So, the client is the player. So, if I go and press play on this, and if you familiar with Roblox Studio, you might know you should see that it says current client. This is the client. So we can't. So this is the client. So client is basically the player. But if we press this button, we're on the server. So as we can see our character there. It's not doing anything, but we're the server. We control everything. So that's basically what they are. And the different and there's been times where you might get errors because you're saying like because not saying but because of server and client, because not recently, but Roblox added filtering enabled, which makes your game more secure, so clients can't do anything to change the server, because that's what exploiters do, and that's how they can disrupt the game. So I'm going to be explaining what the client can change, what the server can change, because the server can't change everything. So, firstly, it can't, I'll explain. So, firstly, we're going to look at the client. So, a client will run on something called a local script, and a local script, a local script is basically the client side of a script, and a local script can access some stuff that the server can't access. So we're going to firstly look at the stuff that it can't access and the stuff that it can access. And beware, the local script for this like demonstration to work, it either needs to be in here, starter player, one of those, or the starter GUI and starter player, and whatever these. And maybe there's one more, I can't really remember. So we're going to look at what the client can access, or can't access, sorry. We'll do can't access first. So the client can't access. If we go and said, so I'm going to go and insert a script in script service, which I originally did. And I'm going to also insert a folder into server storage and call this, it's easy spelling, hello. Very easy spelling, so you can see. And now what I want to do is we're going to go and write this script. So what we're going to do is we're going to say game.server storage, and we want to say .hello, and we'll say colon. Let's see what happens. I'm going to open the output, and let's go and see what's happened. So we're going to go and press play. It should say, see, hello is not a valid member of server storage. As you can see, there is something in server storage called hello. And why is that? And that's because of filtering enabled. The client can't do anything on the server storage, so that's what the client, I'll tell you all what the client can't access. So the client can't say game.server service as server script. It can't access the server storage, and that's about it. It can access the workspace. It can access replicated storage, replicate first, the lighting, the players, which one thing I'm going to say, the server can't access really, and all the else, I think that's what the client can access. So it can't access these two. So say when you're making a Well, no. The best thing to do is whenever you're making a shop, you can't just say, oh, actually, I'm gonna show you something. So this is replicated storage. We're gonna insert a bool value. I said the server can access replicated storage. If we go and say value, oh, value, and go in server script service and say we'll just run a little bit of code, just saying dot value colon get property change signal value, just gonna run when this value is changed. Quite basic actually. And we'll just drop a line and we'll just say print. All we need to say is print value has changed. So this should run whenever this value is changed. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now we need to say game dot replicate storage dot value equals true. Let's go and see what happens. And nothing has happened. We haven't got an error in replicated storage. This is true. We haven't got an error. If we go onto the server though, this isn't true. And in this server script service, we put it on the server. This function is on the server. If we had this on the client, whenever this value is changed, it still wouldn't work, even though on the client it is true, because it looks at the server, and when you change it, you only change it for yourself, not to the server and other players. So what you need to say in this, if you need a value for, say, you're having you want to contact the server, so with your main game, what you need to do is use something called a remote function. And a remote function is basically like a remote event if you've ever looked at it, but there's different code or it's very slightly changed. So I'll just go and show you what I mean. We're going to say game.replicate storage dot remote events colon invoke server at the start of the servers when it's running. So we're not going to change any other script. All we're going to do is here we're just going to drop lines. So this code won't run whenever this change because we're outside of the end. And we'll say game.replicate storage dot remote function dot onserve invoke. And you might think colon connect. You might think that. If we go and see what happens when we write that, and we go and say game dot replicate storage dot value equals true. If we go and see that, we should get an error. And on server, and it says on server invoke. If we're going to see the error, on server invoke is a callback member of remote function. You can only set the callback value. Get is not available. So for that, it's a bit different. It's not an RBX signal. You don't say connect. You do say function, and you say equals function. And instantly you do get the player, so you can change stuff with the player, and it doesn't have a bracket because there is no connect. The connect gives the bracket. So if we go and try that out, it should and yep, value has changed. It only worked when we done the remote function. It didn't work when we said it in starter GUI, but basically we actually said the same thing in here and in here. We said the exact same thing, but it only worked on the server. Because the server, whenever the server changes something, it will change on all the clients. Whenever a client changes something, it will only change something on that client. And if you want to change it on all clients, you have to do a remote function or a remote event. So that's it with the client, what it can't do. And I've been seeing on the Roblox dev forum, people being complaining about like, why is this saying it's a nil value and stuff like that. I'll go and show you what I mean about that. So if I go insert a script and go and say, and this is the thing that the server cannot access. The client can't access everything. The server can't access one thing. So if we just said game players dot local player, as you can see, it did come up with this local player, and we typed that, and if we said humanoid dot walk speed, I don't think I spelled walk speed correct. I'm going to change that. Equals 50. So if we go and see that, it should run well. You might think if we had this, this is the right code, exactly the right code, but index nil with humanoid. And what it means by that is so the server, if we just get rid of this script and run it again, I'll go and show you what I mean. Just go and write test and run. Basically we're the server right now. So look at this. There's nothing in the players. We are the server. Oh, actually, let me just make it so there actually is a player on the client. If we go on that, there is a player in this. We can't really access this by script. You might be thinking maybe because we said .local player .character and there's no character in here, but that's a function with Roblox, or not function, but a thing you can do. And when you say .character, it finds the exact same name as this in the workspace, and it checks if it's a real player, not an NPC. So it should be working game.players.local player. As it said, it was a nil value. But if we go in start a GUI, insert a local script, and go and say game the players dot local player dot humanoid character, sorry. I don't know if I just said dot local player dot humanoid. I might have said that. Local player dot, yeah, I might have said that. If it still wouldn't have worked anyway. Dot walk speed. And I'll go and show you after. I don't think. Let's just see this. And there's no error of nil value. Humanoid is not valid. Oh, what is going on? That should be humanoid is not a valid member of human. Wait, what? What was it called then? That's a bit weird. We did put it as a local script, right? Yeah, you did. Humanoid. Copy that. Let me just say, instead of that, we'll just say my username. And I'll show you it on the client as well. I'll go and show you on the server. Will be like humanoid. I don't know why it's not correct spelled. It's quite weird. The better be correct. What? What is going on? That's a bit weird. I don't know why. Let me just go and copy and paste the name. Well, that's just a weird glitch. It has to be. So yeah, that's basically with the server. As on the server, it said it was a nil value. On here, it did say it's not a valid member, but when it says not a valid member, that means it can see the character of it. It can see the character. The character is a thing on the client, not on the server. So that's basically what I'm talking about. So that's it with this video today. And tomorrow, yep, on next video, we're going to be doing string functions. Sorry about yesterday, I said we were going to be doing it next video, but I promise next video we'll be doing string functions, and there is a lot that I'm going to show you. So stay tuned for that video. Hope to see you next time.